Laalayet pancha varshaani dasha varshaani taadayet. Praapte tu shodashe varshe putram mitravad aacharet.
Today we sit with one of the most practical and quietly profound verses in all of Sanskrit literature. A verse about raising children, but really, as we will see, a verse about every relationship where one person holds power over another's growth. It comes from the Chanakya Niti, chapter 3. Listen to it first. Laalayet pancha varshaani, dasha varshaani taadayet. Praapte tu shodashe varshe, putram mitravad aacharet. Indulge a son for 5 years, discipline him for 10 years, but when the 16th year arrives, treat him as a friend. Let us open the words one by one. Laalayet comes from the root lal, which means to play, to delight. In its causative form, it means to cause delight, to fondle, to cherish, to pamper. So the first command is, for 5 years, pancha varshaani, make the child's world soft and playful. Then comes dasha varshaani taadayet, for 10 years, taadayet. This word comes from the root tad, which literally means to strike. The commentators soften it rightly to mean firm correction, real discipline, boundaries that actually land, the way a vine is trained to a trellis. Then the turn. Praapte tu shodashe varshe. But when the 16th year has arrived, putram, the son, mitravat aacharet. One should behave toward him like a friend. That little suffix vat means like or as, and aacharet comes from the root char, to move, to conduct oneself. The same root that gives us acharya, a teacher whose conduct is worth following. So the final instruction is not about feeling friendly. It is about visible, enacted conduct. Behave as a friend. Now, who is speaking? Chanakya, also called Kautilya, the 4th century BCE strategist who took a boy named Chandragupta and shaped him into the emperor of the Maurya dynasty. This verse sits in a chapter about family, right after a blunter verse that says, pampering breeds faults and discipline breeds virtues. Our verse is the correction to that bluntness. It says, no, discipline is not always the answer. Indulgence has its season, discipline has its season, and both must end on schedule. And notice, Chanakya lived this verse. He protected the young Chandragupta, he trained him ruthlessly, and then he spent the rest of his life not as the king's commander but as his counselor and friend. Here is the deepest teaching hidden in these two lines. Love is not one thing, it is a sequence. The inner feeling stays constant, but its outer form must change as the child matures. Indulgence at age 5 is love. Indulgence at age 12 is neglect. Indulgence at age 20 is sabotage. Discipline at age 10 is love. Discipline at age 18 is humiliation, and it breeds either rebellion or secrecy. The parent who cannot change modes is loving their own habit of loving, not the child. And notice something uncomfortable about the third stage. The first two stages keep the parent in power, first as provider, then as governor. The third stage requires the parent to step down. Mitravat means the hierarchy dissolves. You may advise, but you may no longer command. Most of the pain between parents and grown children in every culture is a failure of stage 3. The father who remains a drill sergeant to his 40-year-old son. Chanakya, the great theorist of power, understood that you can command a boy of 10, but you can only persuade a man of 20. And persuasion requires the trust that only friendship builds. Raising a child properly, this verse whispers, ends in a kind of letting go. Why 16? In the old tradition, 16 marked adult capacity. But there is a lovely symbol here too. The full moon has 16 phases, 16 kalas. Shodashe kala means completeness. When the child becomes full, treat him as full. What is remarkable is how precisely modern science has confirmed this ancient timetable. Attachment theory tells us that the first 5 years require unconditional warmth, a secure base, and that harsh discipline before secure attachment produces anxiety, not virtue. Middle childhood, roughly 5 to 15, is exactly when children need structure, standards, and consequences. And adolescent research shows that granting autonomy produces good judgment, while authoritarian control produces concealment and revolt. The psychologist Diana Baumrind spent a career proving that the best parenting combines high warmth with high structure, shifting steadily toward autonomy. Chanakya compressed that entire literature into 32 syllables, 23 centuries early. The same arc appears in Aristotle, who said, virtue is formed first by habituation under authority and later by one's own reason. It appears in the book of Proverbs, in Confucian teaching, and in every good management framework. Direct, then coach, then delegate. A founder must protect the new hire, then challenge the growing one, then treat the mature leader as a peer or lose them. And here is the inner reading. The son in this verse can be anything growing in your care. A new habit, a young skill, a fledgling venture, even your own mind in practice. Every new thing needs its 5 years of lalana, protection from harsh criticism while the roots form. Then its 10 years of tadana, rigorous, honest correction. Then trust. The two universal errors are killing seedlings with criticism and coddling grown trees. So let me leave you with 3 questions. In each relationship where you hold power, which stage is the person actually in, and which stage is your behavior in? Where did someone fail to transition with you, and are you repeating that failure downstream? And what in your own inner life are you crushing with premature harshness or spoiling with overdue softness? Tonight, try this. List the 3 people or projects you most influence. For each, write the stage they are in and the stage you are treating them in. Wherever the two disagree, choose one behavior to retire this week. And from now on, before you correct or indulge anyone, silently ask Chanakya's question, what year is it for them? Let the answer, not your mood, choose your response. Laalayet panchavarshani dashavarshani taadayet. Praapte tu shodashe varshe putram mitravad aacharet. Protect, then train, then befriend, and know when the season has turned.
लालयेत् पञ्चवर्षाणि दशवर्षाणि ताडयेत् प्राप्ते तु षोडशे वर्षे पुत्रं मित्रवदाचरेत्